All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 15 already. Wow. So last time we left, was just about to the point of gluing the dorsal on. Well, I've done so. And let me tell you, the fit on this thing is really, really tight. It took a lot of force to get it to seat very well at all. And even then, there was still a gap all the way down, including up here underneath. So one of the things that I did, a little trick I have, remember the term, it's just styrene? Well, it is just styrene. I actually took some styrene strips, especially up here where the gap was the worst. And I just glued in some styrene strips, cut them to length, and stuck them underneath, kind of like that. And also up here in the front, kind of like that, underneath, and was able to, see if I can get some light on it. There we go. I was able to get some styrene strips in there and glue them in so that the gap basically disappeared. Over here, the gap wasn't quite as prevalent, so I didn't have to worry about that. But these front pins up here were extremely difficult to seat. So I got it seated as best I could, and then I've actually gone through and put in one bit of putty all the way from one end to the other. So we've started our work on that, but and I'm starting to smooth it out. I've done both sides, and it actually is looking okay, although there is a bit of a light leak underneath, as you can see. I love light leaks. They're my favorite thing in the world. So we'll take care of all those once we get everything situated and smoothed out. But so yeah, that's something you want to watch out for. Even doing careful masking of all of the pins that were in there didn't really make much of a difference. It was still murder to get this thing to seat correctly. So there's also kind of a high-low right here where the neck meets the back, although it's really not too bad. I was able to minimize it. I've just started puttying right there as well and smoothing that out. So all in all, I think it's going to look just fine, and it's going to be extremely sturdy. It was just really painful to get the thing mounted up. So mounting the saucer to the top isn't nearly as bad, although you've got basically one shot. When you get it on, you don't want to remove it again, because if you remove it again, and about half these pins will break off. So make sure you're ready to roll when you do that. Once again, I have all my wiring here, my nav, strobes, power, warp, and impulse. So that's actually looking pretty good. I think once I get all of this done here, I think I'm going to give the ship a once over and start light blocking and kind of removing any of the little defects, little bumpies and whatnots, and just try to make it as nice as I can. And then I have to remember to put in the photo etch bits for the docking rings. I haven't done that yet, so we got to do that. But and then I think it'll be time to, well, let's see, brass rod, which I mentioned once before. I got to do that, and then it'll be time to get back on the saucer and start to finish that up. Because once this is all painted up, we're going to want to mate the two. So, boy, won't that be exciting! But anyway, I'll be back later with more on the refit. It's starting to look kind of like the refit if you do like that. There we go. Hey, you can go back here. Ooh. But yeah, imagine once you get the saucer and the cells mounted up, it's like, ooh, very nice. But anyway, I'll be back later and we'll have more to show. So stick around. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's actually been a couple of weeks since I filmed the last piece. Real life has been getting in the way of modeling, so I'm trying to get back to it, and tonight I've been able to do a little work. Actually, last night and tonight, so what I did was I gave it a once-over. It looked pretty good, so I primed it with gray primer to try to block some of the light and, kind of see if there were any details that really needed attention. And I still had a little bit of work to do around the edge of where the dorsal attaches. So as you can see, I've sanded and re-puttied here. This will be, I'll go out and re-prime this after I shoot this video, but I think it's going to turn out okay now. Also, this area right here had a little bit of a bump to it, so I took care of that. Also, on the back of this pylon here, there was just a little tiny crack, just a little baby one, and those those are really hard to get rid of. So I put another coat of putty on it, and I'll sand it down and see if we can get rid of that. And then I also did the other side of the dorsal as well. It also had the same issue there, so I just took care of it real quick. And that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to be 93.5% happy with the way the secondary hull is turning out. So you'll never, ever, ever get it perfect. I mean, if you spend enough time, of course, you'll get it close, but there's always going to be a flaw somewhere. So I usually pick a time when I'm like, okay, I can't stand doing it anymore, and it looks pretty good to my eye, and hopefully it looks okay. So I'm going to go ahead and prime it, and also do a light test on it. I think I'm going to turn it on, let it sit in the dark, and see if I can see any light leaks left over, and take care of those while I can. So otherwise, it's after this, I'll be able to prime it, and then prime it with white actually, and then give it a good old pearl white. I haven't been able to find any Duplicolor pearl white for sale locally, so which is weird because I'm in Orlando. It's a giant city, and you'd think there'd be some around, but I've checked several auto parts stores. None of them have had it, so I'll probably just use the Tamiya spray paint because I've used it with really good success. And you don't need to put it on. You don't need to put it on extremely heavily. You can just mist it on. Most of the white is in the primer or paint that you use for your base coat. So, and then this is just a go over it to give it that pearl sheen, which is what you want to show through the decals. So we'll give that a whirl. But otherwise, yeah, after I'm done with this, I'll get back on the saucer and we'll try to finish it up, and then I'll be able to paint the two pieces, and then we'll actually start the warp nacelles. I can't believe I haven't started those yet. I always save them till last because they're I hate doing the chiller grills. Ugh, not my idea of fun. But anyway, I'll be back once I do that, and we'll have a look at this thing and see how it turned out. So be back in a moment. Actually, before I go out and prime it, I just turned on the lighting, and as you can see where the dorsal meets it, where I sanded away any of the primer, yeah, it's showing right through right there. But I think once I prime it, that's going to go away. So we'll see how that turns out. And I've also got just a little bit showing through right there. So I'm going to hit that again and see if I can get rid of that. I've got it around the tailpiece quite a bit. Otherwise, I think all the light leaks are taken care of, which is really great. So I think even on this side, I think all I've got's around the dorsal area. There it is. But otherwise, just on the tail section a little bit. Right kind of on the top there. So we'll have to hit that one more time and see if we can get rid of it. But otherwise, it looks like there's not really much leaking going on. There's one there. So we'll just hit all these spots and see if we can pretty it up. But it's starting to look pretty good, I think. So anyway, back in a moment. Okay, I've done a couple more coats of primer where it needs it. Especially back in this area here, right here, and right here, plus on the other side around the dorsal. And I still have a couple of leaks. Though they're really getting minor. There's a little tiny one here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Oh yeah, you can. There it is. So I gotta hit that one more time. The one that's really been a bane though is the one on the pylon. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's starting to get covered up, but it's still trying to peek through. Let's see if I can get it where you can see it. There it is. Still trying to peek through, and I can't quite get rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of tulip and go in there and hit it. That will completely block any of the light showing through, and from there, once we prime it, it'll be gone for sure. Otherwise, I think we've pretty much gotten it. There's a little bit of bleed through right here too, but I'll hit that one more time and we'll be fine. So, and then once all the light leaks are gone, we'll give it a once over with some white primer, and this thing will be ready for paint. Yay! The only piece I haven't done on this is the deflector, which, as you can see, I've barely started it. I've only drilled my hole for my hotspot. So I'll get to that soon. But what I was planning on doing was once I'm finished priming this and getting it ready for paint, is I was going to go back to the saucer and continue on that. So I will be right back. I'm going to put some tulip in there and let it dry, sand it out, and then we'll hit it with a little primer and we'll see how it does. So it'll take a little bit for me, but for you it'll only be a second. So hang on just a second. You can see there we put a little bit of tulip in there just to block that light. It worked perfectly too. I just put just a little dollop in there and then took a napkin and wiped it away, and that's what you're left with. So, and as you can see, the light leak is dead. So we'll wait for that to dry and then hit it with some primer, and then hit the last couple bits that are leaking with primer, and then we'll be done. Hooray! So next time you see it, hopefully it will be white. So hang on just a sec. And look at that, everyone. No more light leaks. So the tulip took care of the one there, and the one at the neck is gone, and the one at the back is gone. So we have no more light leaks, and this thing is ready to go to white. And actually I started putting white primer over it and then promptly ran out, so it's not done yet, but tomorrow I'll go get some more. So I think I'm done with this section. I'm going to put this video up so you guys can see what I've been doing and actually show that I am still working on this thing. And when next we meet, I'll be finishing up the white primer on this, and we'll be starting work on the saucer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this section, and I hope it's been of interest to you, and thank you very much for watching. See you next time.